Hello friends, this is Rachel once again representing Black and Gold Concepts. As usual, we dish out daily or regularly everything that has to do with real estate, property management, agency, letting, buying, name it, buying of property, selling of property. We're all here for you. And today we'll be talking about the four most important factors that we need to consider before you invest in real estate. Yes, before you invest in real estate, there are some important factors that you have to consider. Lately, you see so many blogs, so many adverts, invest in real estate, come and buy this property, come and buy that property, we'll tutor you on how to go about it, and so many things like that. But I tell you, at the end of this, you will be able to confidently pick on the one that most suits you, not just putting your money into the hands of anybody, but somebody or an investment that is worth it at the end of it all. The first point we'll be talking about that has to do with property investment is property location. That means where your property will be located or where that property is located. Before you put your money down to invest in a property, where will it be located? Will the place it will be located, will it be generating with a good return on investment? Now, when we talk about also location, what is that property meant for? If I want to invest in a property that is going to be located, I want to do property rental, so to speak, and it's now located where you have commercial properties like warehouses and all that. Do you think it will be able to generate the kind of investment that I want? Because I've located the right property at the wrong place. So the location of the property determines a lot. And the factors that we'll consider when we are talking about the location of the property have to do with proximity of the amenities, the views there, the neighborhood itself, And if it's going to be a residential property, you have to consider these factors. But if it's going to be a commercial property, you have to consider the warehouse. You have to consider proximity to the market where you'll be getting your goods or where the factory will be getting their goods for their business. We'll also be talking about the freeways, access to roads where they can easily move. Whether they want to take their goods out or when they want to bring in raw materials, there must be good access. So if your property is located at the right place, then it is worth the investment. It can be a mid to a long-term view as to how the property will evolve over the period of time. So you have to be able to confirm with the property authorities, the proper authorities in the neighborhood, to know what that property is all about. And if that property is good enough to be in that location that is going to be situated. If it is not at the right location and you invest, it will be hard for you to get the right return on investment at the end of whether the mid-term or the long term. So it's very important to consider where the property that you're investing in will be located. Another factor that we have to consider is valuation of the property. This should not be valuation of just the mouth thing. It has to be a valuation that is done by a registered valuer, somebody that knows his onions. So if you are going to be investing in a property, let the valuation be done the way it's supposed to be done. He will give you various figures, the lowest and the highest, being the range that your investment will be running into. You need this valuation. You need it for tax purposes. You need it for insurance purposes. You need it even to be able to know what your investment is worth. You need it because it will be useful for you to be able to do so many other things with it. Now, if you have not done the right valuation and you want to list the property for sales or you want to list it for rentals and you are giving a figure that is way below what you should, at the end of it all, you can't get a good return on investment. So the rate at which you are giving out your property and the value of the property must be at par. At least the value, the rate must be in such a way that you will be able to make a good return on investment. Please make sure your valuer is somebody that is accredited, somebody that will do a good job for you. Another factor we want to consider when it comes to property investment is investing for the right purpose. So the purpose for which you are investing in that property is very important. If the purpose for the investment is for you to build and self-use, that is, you build, probably you want to live there, fine, it will determine how or what you'll be investing in. If you want to build and sell, that is another factor entirely. Build and sell within a short term, build and sell within a long term. When we talk about short term, some people sell carcass, or what others call a semi-finished apartment. As an investor, you want to make your quick money, and so you buy, you finish the building, do the necessary things, and then you sell. This can be within a short period of time. But for some, they decide to invest in the property, they buy, acquire for a long period of time, and they want it to mature to a particular amount they feel is worth their investment. So probably at that time, there is a 40% increase in the value of the property. There is a 50% increase. In fact, for some, a 20% increase is not small within a period or a long period of time. A long period of time, say years. So the purpose of your investment determines what you get at the end of it all. For some, they want to buy and rent. That is, they want to buy and let it out to interested tenants. For some, they also think, well, will I want to do this? Why? Because of the rigors of being a landlord, because of the rigors of managing the tenants, because of fights and so many things involved, legal issues in rental property, and they are not willing to do all that stress, and so they feel, okay, yes, I might not want to do this. But for some, they are comfortable with it, and because of that, they calculate their return on investment per period of time rental will be renewed. And the good side of this is that it's still your property and you are making money on the long run. And so for those that are doing a bit of they're doing mortgage, they can be using the money from the rent to also pay for the property. And that's why some people will tell you you can own a house with 0 naira, because they tell you go to the bank, get a loan, the money to be paid on the rent you now be using to pay the mortgage. Well, calculate it well before you go ahead, but so many people do it. So that's also another important factor in investment. And lastly, we'll be talking about projection for profit or projection on expenses. Projection for profit, projection for expenses must not be at par. Your projection for profit must be higher and your expenses must be lower. The difference between your profits and your expenses now becomes your what? It becomes what you take home, your return on investment. So if your projection of investment and projection on expenses are the same thing, then there is no profit on that business. I tell you, do you think it is worth it investing in a property where you are making no profit? Please, nobody does that. Then what is the essence of investment? You have to make profit, so you have to do your projection. Whether you want to buy it and resell the property as it is, or you want to buy it, work on the property, calculate all the expenses including all the renovations done, then sell the property. Or be it you want to buy a landed property and you want to resell over a period of time, you have to consider managing that land, and up to the time that you sell it, all expenses incurred or all documents gotten for that property must and definitely must be an expense that you calculate, and that expense, please, must not be the same thing as your sales. The difference between the money you'll be selling on that investment and your expenses is your profit. So if you cannot seem to get a good difference between these two, then I tell you that property is not worth investment. So we have 4 good points that you have to consider. Number 1, location of the property. Good. Number 2, valuation of the property. Number 3, and that is the purpose of the investment. And lastly, number 4, projection on profit and expenses. If you are able to manage well these 4, I tell you, your return on investment will be worth it at the end of it all. Your return on investment will surely guarantee that you will have a very good profit margin at the end of it all. Thank you so much. It is Rachel as always, and representing Black and Gold Properties. Have a wonderful day, and always remember, ask your questions, subscribe to our channel, and we'll always be delighted to answer to your queries. Have a wonderful day.